Hey, I'm Blair Bunting. I'm going to go into a spacesuit inside of a Cold War spy plane that's going to then be chased by another Cold War spy plane to the edge of space to do a photo shoot. And then I'm going to land and drink.
Hey, it's Niccolls here from PetaPixel, and we are here at Beale Air Force Base to document something that has never been attempted before. Now, this project is only possible because first off, we have the right photographer, Blair Bunting, but also because the US Air Force has given us incredible access, so we're very grateful for that. So Blair has a harrowing journey ahead. It is dangerous, he has a lot of training to do, so let's join him on his journey to make this happen.
My name is Blair Bunting. I am a commercial photographer that usually photographs people, advertising campaigns of celebrities and athletes, very rarely a plane or two.
Tell us about the photograph that you're going to take.
It originally started out as the idea of going up and photographing the curvature of the Earth, because the altitude that we'll be at, you'll be able to start and see where black space bends the horizon. But somewhere along the lines, the idea of can we also throw another plane up there and fly in formation right next to each other got put into the mix, not by me, and I'd say there's a 50-50 chance it works.
We don't send a lot of folks up there because of all the training. Going up that high, you have to be in a full pressure suit, or the spacesuit as we call it. So if you're up there without a spacesuit and you do have an explosive decompression and you're above Armstrong's line, your blood will start boiling. So you have only about, I think it's like 9 seconds until you're dead. So that combined with the parachute training, familiarization with the ejection seat, it's kind of a big ask for us to get civilians up there.
You're going to be falling for a little bit, right? Screaming. You're going to feel opening shock, right? So it'll probably be very violent, like let go. Okay. Do that 3 or 4 times.
This morning was tough because you have to hear a lot of different ways that you could die. This is a situation that can get deadly. And if you can't accept that, you shouldn't be doing it. T-38?
So the U-2 was originally designed by the Skunk Works, the Lockheed Skunk Works program headed by Kelly Johnson in 1955, and was housed in Area 51 and all those storied locations.
At what height is Blair going to be getting up to?
So we're allowed to say the U-2 goes above 70,000 feet.
Okay.
And Blair will be crossing that threshold.
It's about the legacy of the U-2 and documenting it in a way that it hasn't been shown, because obviously it is a secret aircraft, or there's aspects of it that are classified. And so it doesn't get the photo opportunities. And so they said, you know, this plane has been around this long, let's finally give it the recognition it deserves. And I was fortunate that they asked me to be the one to do that. It's all about the plane, but that's kind of cutting it short, because to talk about the U-2, you talk about the people that support it, and that's even more interesting than the plane, to be honestly. And it's the legacy of the U-2 and Beale Air Force Base. So we got brought on to make the images that haven't been made, unfortunately, of it.
So Blair, you've taken pictures in fighter jets of other fighter jets before. What was that like?
Fighter jet to fighter jet it's an adrenaline rush. They're hot rods in the sky. This one's different. There's not a lot of G-forces. It's essentially a large lazy boy. It's the severity of the environment that scares the living hell out of me more than any fighter jet would. This project has cost me about 6 months of my life, and as soon as we heard that Washington had greenlit the program, you don't sleep anymore. At least not without waking up dreaming of what you're going to see, and then not being able to go back to bed because of the responsibility. I haven't really been able to be fully in a conversation for 6 months with anyone, because it's always there. And yeah, that's been tough.
In the last few months, family life-wise, day-to-day, he is a bit more distracted. Blair is training and trying to, take care of his mental health so that when he gets out here for something like this, he's prepared in all aspects. So we've definitely seen a lot of different, physical, mental, all sorts of changes that we've made to make sure that he's taking care of himself and being as healthy as possible so he can be here in person.
So when the project got greenlit from Washington, I flew out to the base and we did our very first spacesuit fitting. My expectations were it was going to be this experience where it's just that quiet breathing, and it's the polar opposite of that. It was loud and it was scary. You hear just nonstop breathing and you hear motors that are keeping your body alive, and there was so much jarring from that it scared me. And so when we actually went and tried it on today, I knew what I was going into, and it was peaceful. I was able to breathe a little easier. I think the intimidation of seeing someone in a spacesuit is probably more intimidating than it is being the person in one. The gloves have this texture right here, and so you can actually grip onto any dial. Shutter button and everything, you don't need to worry. Like, I think some people thought that we were going to need extended shutter buttons, but overall functioning of a camera with this is really easy, unless you go to a decompression, which the camera, we don't care anymore at that point. You just chuck it. They are really pushing the idea of having water bottles in there as well with me. They want at least 2 to 3 because if you don't have enough water on that large of an ascent, you'll have a micro stroke. And so the water needs to be there, and therefore that takes the place of a lens. It's a trade-off. If I can hide a lens somewhere, I will. But at the end of the day, it's just there's no space.
These last few days on base, he's had even higher highs and even lower lows. He's gotten the briefings and what to expect, and some of the worst case scenarios that they have to be prepared for, and it's information he obviously needs, but has probably added additional stress to his already higher stress levels than usual.
How do you think you're going to feel seeing the Earth the way that you're about to see it tomorrow?
I think it's going to be hard. Yeah. I don't know. But I don't think I'll be able to talk about that much, but I think it's going to be hard.
Dragon 9-1, Pidion 9-1. Good.
They had to adjust a helmet in, and then apparently I had a regulator fail on mine, or valve or something. That was actually the calmest I was the whole day, because I got to watch how hard they were working to fix this and how much the safety mattered.
We're on their way out right now, blasting up to altitude. The check's done. So right now is kind of an exhilarating part of the ride. Down in this thick air, the plane is just handling. It's a lot. It's a handful, and so they're going to be wrestling with it. It's loud. There's a lot of thrust coming out of it. They're going to be climbing out. They're talking to a lot of different air traffic controllers. It's busy. And here in about 10 minutes, everything's just going to smooth out. They're going to get above everything and everybody else. so radios are quiet, and the air gets smooth, and all of a sudden that view just turns into this just like incredible sight. And then the cool thing is, it's sort of like now the plane just carves up the sky. It just dances kind of along up there, and it just feels so smooth and graceful, and the view is unreal.
Yeah, you'll never forget the first time you go high. You're just struck with how peaceful everything looks up there. Like all the stuff that man is doing down low, it gets muted when you're up there. You just see the majesty that is the planet Earth, and then as you keep going higher and higher, you start seeing the curve and the black sky above you. It's amazing. Other than the folks on the International Space Station, you're the highest human being on the planet at that given time. Wow. And that's pretty special.
Does that feeling ever change? Does that feeling ever lessen?
No, that's always awesome.
I've had several people ask me how I'm feeling. Now that he's in the air, I'm a little shaky. With all the potential dangers that Blair could be facing, I've been surprisingly calm about the whole experience.
Do you think he's going to accomplish what he wants to accomplish up there?
I know he will.
When I landed, I am looking through every window I had in that cockpit to try and see my wife. I've been wanting to give her a hug and a kiss after this is done for so long, and yeah, that I'll always remember that.
Blair, you made it back. How are you doing?
I'm hurting, but in a good way. Definitely woke up all night, like with my ears readjusting and popping like crazy. Kind of, they said to expect nitrogen coming back into your system. They didn't tell me how fun that was going to be, and I have some memory loss, but I can remember the flight, and I'm grateful I'm done with it. I mean, using the cameras up there, it's brutal. It is so hard because every one movement that you do on Earth, you do 5 or 6 just to do that same kind of step. It's very slow and methodical. But yeah, I took 3 bodies up there, Z72 and 2 A7R5s, and unfortunately at about 65,000 feet, it killed the LCD on my main body, which was an A7R5. So I had to actually shoot it blind. I knew there had been another pilot, an actual YouTube pilot called Sign was Extreme, and he'd gone up and created images and sent me some so I could deduce the exposure value from what he shot, and I knew what my shutter that I last used was on the A7R5, so I just I dialed around with ISO and shutter on that one, and on the lens manually focused it. I mean, you bring up these modern cameras and you immediately go back to 1960 and trying to figure out, like, maybe I can get a shot. I also brought up my dad's, it was a 1972, I think, Nikon F manual focus 51.4 on top, or it was mounted to a Z7 II with the FTZ2. That was, I'll be honest, I wasn't going up there to shoot masterpieces with that. I was going up there to tell my dad what his support has meant to me.
Have you told your dad yet that you did that?
No, I haven't. I don't know how I'm going to. Part of me wants to be there and the other part of me doesn't.
So there's a big project. You have a lot of help. Tell us about the people that made this project possible.
There's a lady named Katie from the Air Force who was the one that really made everything happen, but there's a lot of pilots that deserve so much recognition, not for just flying the plane, but for helping support me on the ground, give me a lot of motivation, information. But their names are classified. They're spies.
Yeah.
So they know who they are, and I am forever in debt to them. But beyond then, I had the support of my best friend Mike, who stood by me the entire time.
I could see the concern in his eyes. But one thing that was really worth noting is when you guys landed, you and Mike had a moment. And do you want to talk about what you guys, said to each other?
I think I just told him I loved him, and he said the same back. We've been through a lot, and yeah, I unfortunately I couldn't take a picture good enough to justify how much he's put into it, or anyone else in my family. But I just tried my best. But yeah, it was emotional. The hard time for me in the flight was you go through, and I brought in a bunch of tokens, trinkets, or pictures and patches and whatnot. And then I made a couple recordings. It was the only time, I thought the entire time on the flight I was going to be an emotional wreck when I saw the curvature of the Earth. But truly, when I saw it, I just kind of looked at it, recognized it, and picked the camera back up. The time when I lost it in the plane was recording videos for my kid, my wife, and my dad. So I just put the visor down.
It's bright up there.
Exactly, it was. It was so bright. You're crying, not me.
It's the sun in my eyes, literally. I'm not crying.
It was one of those shoots that obviously you always have the shoots you're never going to forget, but this one was something that it will always be, I think, the pinnacle of what I can do. And so if you don't mind, I'd like to show you some of the stuff.
All right, Blair, here we go. Sounds good.
Brown, good morning, Dragon 9-2. IFR to Beale, ready copy, request a tactical departure.
Dragon 9-1, well done, good afternoon, sir. Discharge approved, cleared to Beale Airport via FCA.
Pretty good view of the coast there.
So cool.
Hey Utah, I just lost the main camera real fast. It's still running. I'm going to switch over and shoot it manual, man. We got this, don't worry. It's all good.
I see him. Sweet.
Let's try and see if we can bring him in slowly. I'm going to set up for that, and then as we move in, I'll let you know when I'm going to get on the shutter.
We can't get vertically much more closer to him. The turbulence.
A little lower. So sick.
Got a good stack for you?
Very.
Sweet. A little bit more.
Holy shit. Hard though.
Hey man, if we can bring the plane back about 35 feet, I'd be grateful.
Got some extra speed. I'm going to pass over you and get on your right side.
We got it.
Just let me know when you're good, and then we'll talk about clearing him off, and we'll go high.
Perfect.
Higher, I mean.
Oh dude, all the training, and I am already wiped out. Only 2 more hours to go, man, right?
Getting a little darker above us.
Hey Dad, I didn't tell you, but I took your lens and I brought it to space, and I just want to say thank you for your support. You and Mom have been everything to me, and it's because of you that we've done this.
Made it. Welcome to the club.
Thank you for taking it.
Anytime.
It's as if like the horizon has just given way to the blackness above and bent. I've never experienced anything like this. I don't think I ever will again, man. This is amazing.
Alright, man, well, I'm about ready for the descent. Anything else you want to do up here?
sitting at the top of the world and having a very decent apple pie. This is amazing. Well, holy shit, that just happened. Hi PetaPixel, this is Blair Bunting. You guys are at the edge of space with me for a photo shoot. I hope you enjoy, and hi Chris and Jordan.